Hello, hello, English learners. Welcome to the Easy English podcast from English Life Channel, your comfortable place for learning English through real daily life conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. Sarah, why do you look so calm today? Not normally calm, suspiciously calm.
Suspiciously calm? That sounds dangerous.
A little. So tell me, how are you really feeling today?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. The safest answer in the English language. But I don't believe you.
Honestly, when I woke up this morning, I wanted to give up on almost everything for about 5 minutes.
Almost everything? What happened?
I opened my eyes and immediately remembered my work, my unfinished goals, and all the things I had promised to do. My brain looked at the list and said, "No, I resign. Please find another brain."
Haha, a resignation letter from your own brain. I think many people listening know that feeling. Sometimes the day has barely started, but you already want to quit it.
And it isn't always about huge problems. This morning, I also wanted to quit the gym again.
Again? How many times have you gone?
Once.
One workout and you're retiring from fitness?
My legs hurt for 3 days. Apparently, my brain thought we had done enough exercise for one lifetime.
Learners sometimes feel the same way about English. One confusing grammar rule, one fast conversation, or one forgotten word can make them think, "That's it. English and I are finished."
Exactly. It sounds funny, but the frustration is real. One difficult experience can make years of progress feel invisible. That is why today's episode is called Don't Give Up on Yourself.
Maybe you're in that place today. You're tired of making the same mistakes, or you're comparing yourself with people who seem faster.
Part of you may be asking, what's the point of continuing? But another part of you pressed play, and that part still wants to move forward.
So we'll talk about how to continue when part of you wants to stop. We'll also share 3 gentle ways to move forward when English, work, study, health, or another goal feels unusually heavy.
And we won't tell you to work every second or pretend that everything is easy.
We're going to explore a kinder, more realistic kind of strength, because resting can be part of continuing. This is an easy B1 conversation, and A2 learners can follow along too.
As you listen, think about one question. What is one thing you don't want to give up on, and why?
Your answer doesn't need perfect English. It only needs to be honest.
Before we can talk about continuing, though, we need to clear up something important. What does never give up actually mean?
Good question, because sometimes that phrase makes me nervous.
Why?
It can sound like this: never rest, never slow down, and never feel sad. Just work like a machine.
That doesn't sound strong. That sounds exhausting.
Exactly. Then if you stop for one day, you feel lazy.
I don't agree with that idea. Rest is not the enemy of progress. Sometimes, rest is what makes progress possible.
So when we say, don't give up on yourself, we don't mean you must push at full speed every day.
We mean something quieter. One useful word is perseverance.
Perseverance means continuing over time, especially when the journey becomes difficult.
You might study on Monday, rest because you are sick on Tuesday, and return for 10 minutes on Wednesday. That return is perseverance.
So perseverance is not one dramatic moment. It's the decision to keep coming back.
Another useful word is resilience, the ability to recover after life pushes you down. I picture a tree in strong wind. Its branches move and its trunk bends.
But bending protects it from breaking.
Yes, when the storm passes, the tree is still there. People bend when they cry, rest, ask for help, or change a plan. That doesn't mean they have broken.
I used to think strength meant never being affected by anything.
What changed your mind?
I realized resilience means admitting that something hurt and still believing you can recover.
That is much more human. Never giving up doesn't mean never falling. It means you don't throw away your dream because one week was painful.
You can take a break without leaving the journey. A bad day does not decide your whole future.
And you can say, I can't carry this today, without saying, I will never carry it again.
That makes the phrase feel much less frightening.
You're allowed to rest, feel disappointed, and move slowly. None of that means you have given up on yourself.
Then why do so many of us want to quit so often? Are we all missing perseverance?
Not necessarily. Sometimes we judge ourselves too quickly. We think, I want to stop, so I must be lazy. But often, that isn't the real story.
The real story may be that life is heavy.
Exactly. People face obstacles. An obstacle is something that blocks your path or makes progress harder. It could be a busy job, money problems, poor health, an exam, or family responsibilities.
And sometimes several obstacles arrive together. You work all day, care for your family, travel home, cook dinner, and then expect yourself to study English with perfect energy.
When you can't, you blame your character instead of looking at what you're carrying.
We also experience setbacks. A setback happens after you have begun moving forward, and something pushes you back.
You study hard, but fail a test. You finally speak English in public, and someone laughs at your pronunciation. You build a good routine, then become sick and miss 2 weeks.
Those moments hurt, because they don't only slow you down, they can make you question everything you did before.
When obstacles and setbacks continue, the journey can feel like an uphill battle.
That expression creates a clear picture. You're walking up a steep hill with a heavy bag. Every step requires effort, and the top still looks far away.
After a while, you feel overwhelmed. That means everything feels like too much at the same time. Your mind cannot decide what to handle first.
Then you may begin to lose heart.
To lose heart means to slowly lose hope, courage, or energy. It doesn't always happen in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it happens quietly, one tiring evening after another.
Imagine a learner who works in a small shop all day. She stands for hours, answers customers, checks prices, and travels home on a crowded bus.
When she arrives, her children need dinner, and her mother needs help. She cares deeply about English and keeps a notebook near the kitchen because she dreams of applying for a better job.
At 9:30, she finally opens it. She reads one line, but her eyes keep closing. The words become blurry, and she closes the notebook again.
Then she feels guilty. She thinks, other people study every night. Why can't I? Maybe I don't want this enough.
But that isn't a fair description of her day. She has been trying since morning, just not in the way she planned.
Exactly. This learner is not lazy. She is exhausted. She may need a smaller routine, a different time, or help at home. She does not need another voice attacking her.
That distinction matters. Wanting to stop can be information. It may be your mind saying, this load is too heavy in its current form.
It doesn't automatically mean, this dream means nothing to me.
If you recognize yourself in that learner, please hear this clearly. Your tiredness is real, but it is not proof that you are weak.
You may need support. You may need sleep. You may need to change the plan. But you do not have to turn a difficult season into a final decision about yourself.
And here is one small action you can use today. Choose the easiest meaningful step you could complete in 5 minutes. Not your perfect plan, just one step that keeps the door open.
It could be listening to one short conversation or saying one sentence aloud. We'll build on that idea later, with 3 gentle ways to keep going.
What if 5 minutes still feels impossible?
Then make the step smaller. Open the notebook and read one line. Play 20 seconds of audio. Write down one useful phrase. The point is not to impress anyone. It is to refuse the all or nothing choice between doing everything and doing nothing.
And when your energy returns, the step can grow. Today's tiny action is only a bridge to tomorrow. You know this feeling personally, don't you? Especially with English.
I do. A few years ago, I had what I now call my English meltdown.
Meltdown sounds serious. What happened?
I was sitting at my desk one evening with my headphones on. I had chosen a video that everyone described as simple English. The title actually said, Easy Conversation for Learners.
So you expected a comfortable practice session.
Yes, I pressed play feeling confident. Then the speakers started talking, and I understood almost nothing. I caught 2 or 3 separate words, but every complete sentence disappeared before I could hold it.
That awful moment when you know it is English, but your brain receives a message from another planet.
Exactly. I moved the video back and listened again. Still nothing. I slowed it down. I turned on subtitles. Somehow, I felt even worse, because I could see words I thought I knew, but I couldn't recognize them when people said them naturally.
What were you telling yourself?
You've studied for so long. Why can't you understand this? Everyone else says it's easy. Maybe you're simply bad at languages.
And that wasn't the only difficult thing that day, was it?
No. Earlier, my teacher had returned an English test. My result was terrible. I had made mistakes in sections I thought I understood. Red marks covered the page.
A difficult video and a painful test on the same day.
It felt like evidence. Not evidence that I had one bad day, but evidence that all my effort had been pointless. I sat there staring at my notes and felt I had hit rock bottom with English.
To hit rock bottom means to reach what feels like your lowest point. You have no hope left in the tank.
That was exactly it. I wanted to delete every English file on my computer. I picked up my notebook and thought about throwing it away. I imagined telling my teacher that I was finished.
You were ready to break up with English.
Completely. Dear English, we tried. You speak too quickly, your spelling makes no sense, and this relationship is causing me stress. Goodbye.
At least the goodbye letter would have been written in English. That was progress.
I definitely could not see that at the time.
What did you actually do that night?
Nothing productive. And honestly, that was probably the right choice. I closed the laptop, I cried for a while, I called my sister and complained. Then I watched a silly show in my own language and went to bed early.
You didn't force yourself to smile or immediately study harder?
No. For the next 2 days, I rested. I let myself be disappointed without making a permanent decision. That part is important. I said, I am not deciding my entire future tonight.
That is a useful rule. Don't make a lifetime decision in the middle of one painful evening.
On the 3rd day, I looked at the notebook again. I still felt embarrassed, but I asked myself a different question. Do I truly want to leave English, or do I just want this painful feeling to stop?
What was the answer?
I wanted the pain to stop. I did not want to abandon the dream. English still mattered to me because I wanted to travel, meet people, and have more choices in my future.
So you decided to push through, but not by attacking yourself.
Right. Push through means to continue through a difficult moment until you reach the other side. But my version was gentle. I made a tiny plan. 10 minutes of listening each day.
The same kind of listening that had just hurt your confidence?
Yes, but I changed the difficulty. I chose a 30-second conversation instead of a long video. On the first day, I listened without subtitles. Then I read the text. Then I listened once more.
Did you understand everything?
Not even close. But I understood one complete sentence. I wrote it down and said it aloud. That one sentence became proof that my brain had not resigned after all.
A small return, instead of a dramatic comeback.
Exactly. Some days I practiced for 10 minutes, some days only 5. Occasionally I repeated the same clip 3 times because I was too tired to find another one.
But you kept returning. That was perseverance in real life.
Slowly, I began to bounce back. To bounce back means to recover after a difficult experience and become stronger again.
Like a ball touching the ground and rising.
Yes. After several weeks, English was not suddenly easy, but the panic had become smaller. I noticed familiar words. I understood short exchanges. I could finally see a light at the end of the tunnel.
A sign of hope after a dark period.
And here is the part I want listeners to remember. I felt like giving up before I bounced back. The feeling itself did not predict the ending.
You hit rock bottom, rested there for a moment, and returned with one manageable action.
So if you feel finished with English today, you do not have to solve the whole journey tonight. Rest if you need to. Then, when you're ready, Look for one sentence that can bring you back.
Your story was about English. My biggest I quit moment happened during my studies, although snacks played an important supporting role.
Now I need details. Were you planning to leave your course and become a professional cookie tester?
The possibility crossed my mind. I was preparing for a major exam while working during the day, helping my family and trying to exercise every morning.
Work, family, study, and exercise. You were asking one person to live 4 lives.
That is what it felt like. I woke up early, rushed through work, handled family responsibilities, and opened my course materials late at night. For several months, I kept telling myself that the results would appear soon.
But they didn't appear as quickly as you expected.
No, I looked at my grades and saw only tiny changes. I was exhausted, but the numbers didn't seem to respect my effort. One night I stared at a practice paper and thought, this is going nowhere. What's the use?
That question is dangerous because it can make every effort feel pointless.
I wanted to quit the course, stop exercising, and clear my schedule of anything difficult. I did not feel resilient. I felt empty.
What stopped you from leaving?
A conversation with my teacher. I went to her office carrying my work in a messy folder. I said, I think I'm going to quit. I'm not improving, and maybe I'm not good enough for this.
How did she respond?
She didn't give me a dramatic speech. She quietly compared my recent work with an assignment from 2 months earlier. She pointed to 3 places where my answers had become clearer, and 2 mistakes I was no longer making.
Progress you had missed because you were only looking at the final score.
Exactly, she said. Alex, you are on the right track. Your problem is not that nothing is changing. Your problem is that you want slow progress to look fast.
On the right track means moving in a helpful direction, even when you haven't reached the destination.
I still argued with her. I said, but the improvement is so small. She answered, small does not mean imaginary. If you stick with it, those changes will grow.
To stick with something means to continue even when it feels slow, repetitive, or difficult.
Then she told me to stay the course. In other words, don't abandon the path halfway through simply because the middle is uncomfortable.
Did you follow her advice immediately?
I followed it after buying a snack.
Of course.
There is a famous expression, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. It means strong people take action when circumstances become difficult.
And your version?
When the going gets tough, Alex gets snacks.
Very inspirational.
Now I combine the 2 versions. I allow the snack, but I also work for 10 focused minutes. I open 1 page, answer 1 question, or review 1 idea.
You didn't become a superhero. You made the struggle small enough to face.
Yes, I stayed the course through small daily actions. The results did improve, but the first important change happened before the grades changed. I stopped treating slow progress as no progress.
What were some of those small changes your teacher helped you notice?
My answers had become more organized. I was finishing practice papers faster, and I no longer panicked when I saw the hardest question. None of those improvements appeared as a big, exciting number, but together they showed that I was becoming more capable.
That is worth noticing. Progress can appear first in your behavior. You begin more quickly, recover from mistakes sooner, understand instructions with less effort, or feel less afraid.
Exactly. If you measure progress only by the final result, you may miss all the evidence growing underneath it.
That gives us the first practical idea. Make the battle smaller.
When life feels like an uphill battle, most of us stare at the entire mountain. We think, I must reach the top today.
Then we become tired before taking the first step. It's like standing in a messy room and saying, I must clean every corner right now.
I would probably lie on the floor and become part of the mess.
But if you choose 1 table, 1 shelf, or 1 drawer, the job feels possible.
English can work the same way. Instead of promising 3 hours every day, choose a minimum step you can complete even on a difficult day.
Your minimum step might be 5 minutes of listening, 1 paragraph, 1 pronunciation exercise, or 1 sentence spoken aloud.
I like the phrase minimum step. because it removes the pressure to do something impressive.
And it protects consistency. If you have more energy, you can continue. If you only complete the minimum, the day still counts.
You once helped a student who described English as a giant ocean, right?
Yes. She said, "I don't even want to touch the water because I'll never cross the whole ocean." I told her, "You don't need to cross it tonight. Just put your feet in."
What did that look like in practice?
Every evening, she played one short English podcast while brushing her teeth. Some days it lasted 2 minutes. That was all.
That sounds almost too small.
She thought so too, but small was the reason she could continue. After a few weeks, she began listening while preparing her clothes for the next day. Her habit grew without a battle.
So the tiny action was not the final goal, it was the doorway back into movement.
Exactly. If your book feels like an ocean today, don't demand a swim. Read one sentence. If speaking feels frightening, say one line when you are alone.
Let's give listeners a quick challenge. Choose one goal and make it small enough to finish in 10 minutes.
Better yet, make it small enough for a tired version of you. A plan that only works when you feel perfect is not a reliable plan.
Try completing this sentence. When I have energy, I can do more, but my minimum step is...
For listening, your minimum might be one short clip. For speaking, it might be describing your morning in 3 sentences. For vocabulary, it could be reviewing 5 useful words instead of opening a list of 500.
Imagine a difficult week. On Monday, you listen for 10 minutes. On Tuesday, you are exhausted, so you review one phrase. Wednesday is busy and you rest. On Thursday, you return to a short conversation.
That week may look imperfect, but the connection with English is still alive. Consistency does not require identical effort every day. It means returning instead of turning one missed day into a reason to disappear for a month.
And place that step beside something you already do. Listen while making tea. Practice one sentence after breakfast, or review your words before opening social media.
The goal is not to fill every free second with work. The goal is to make returning easier. A small step should reduce pressure, not become another reason to feel guilty.
That takes care of the outside task, but there is another battle happening inside the mind.
Our second idea is to change the story in your head.
Many learners make a mistake and immediately say, "I'm terrible at English. I'll never be fluent. Everyone is better than me."
Those sentences can hurt more than the mistake itself. They make the heart surrender before the mouth gets another chance to speak.
During my course, I constantly told myself, "You're behind." Even when I improved, that sentence played in my mind.
Like sad music behind a movie. Even a hopeful scene feels heavy when the soundtrack tells you something bad is happening.
So do we replace it with, "I'm perfect and everything is wonderful"?
No. Kind self-talk should be honest. If you failed a test, you don't need to pretend you passed. You can say, "This is a setback, not the end. I need a different study approach."
Accurate, but not cruel.
Exactly. If you freeze during a conversation, instead of saying, "My English is horrible," try, "I felt nervous, and I still attempted to speak."
Or, "I'm on the right track, but I'm moving more slowly than I expected."
Or, "I can bounce back from one difficult day."
Let's imagine I try to order coffee in English and forget the word sugar. I leave the cafe thinking, "I'm so stupid. What should I say instead?"
First, describe what actually happened. "I forgot one word because I was nervous." Then add a next step. "I'll practice that sentence and try again."
That feels very different. The first story attacks my identity. The second describes one event.
That distinction protects your resilience. A mistake is something that happened. It is not a complete definition of you.
I sometimes answer my negative thoughts aloud. When my brain says, "You're too slow," I say, "I'm moving at the speed I can manage today."
I talk back to my brain too. "Thank you for the dramatic opinion. We are still doing our best."
Changing the inner story doesn't remove the obstacle, but it stops you from becoming another obstacle in your own path.
It also helps to separate feelings from facts. I feel behind is a real feeling, but it is not automatically a fact. Ask yourself, compared with whom? Based on what evidence? Am I ignoring anything I can do now that I couldn't do 3 months ago?
Here is a useful 2-line exercise. First, write the harsh sentence your mind is using. Then rewrite it as one accurate fact and one possible next step.
For example, I always fail when I speak can become, I forgot several words in today's conversation, so I'll practice those phrases and try again.
The new sentence doesn't hide the problem. It makes the problem specific enough to handle.
Exactly. You are not giving yourself false praise. You are speaking to yourself like a patient coach instead of an angry judge.
That doesn't mean arguing with every emotion.
No. You can say, I feel disappointed, and I still recognize my progress. 2 things can be true together. You can be unhappy with today's result and proud that you tried.
That sounds more believable than forcing a positive sentence you don't trust.
And even with kinder thoughts, some days are too heavy to carry alone. That brings us to the 3rd idea. Don't fight alone.
When people feel overwhelmed, the mind often whispers, "Nobody understands. Everyone else is doing fine."
But struggle can be invisible. I remember a learner who wrote, I must be the only person in my city who finds English this difficult.
The only person?
That is what she believed. Then hundreds of people responded under the same episode. Me too. I freeze when I speak. Me too. I forget simple words. Me too. I study after my children go to sleep.
She belonged to a huge secret group without knowing it.
When you share a struggle, you often discover that it is not yours alone. Support might come from a friend, teacher, mentor, study partner, or learning community.
Asking can feel uncomfortable, though. People worry that they will look weak.
True. You don't need a perfect speech. You can send one honest message. English felt difficult today. Would you practice with me for 10 minutes tomorrow?
Or, I'm thinking about quitting my course. Can I tell you what's happening before I decide?
Those are brave sentences.
I have a friend I contact when I lose heart. I write, "Today was hard. Please remind me that one bad day isn't the whole story."
What does your friend say?
Usually, "You're tired, not useless. Drink some water, sleep, and try again tomorrow."
Tired, not useless? That sentence doesn't solve every problem, but it makes the weight lighter.
Sometimes being heard is the first relief. The other person may not fix the exam, schedule, or difficult conversation, but their presence can calm the panic enough for you to see your next choice clearly.
Support does not remove your responsibility. It helps you carry it without feeling completely alone.
My teacher did the same when she showed me my earlier work. She didn't carry the course for me. She helped me see that I was still on the right track.
Sometimes one person saying, I believe in you, can protect a goal during a very difficult week.
If you need support, choose one person you trust and tell them something specific. Don't only say, "Help me." Say, "Can we study together?" Or, "Can you listen while I practice this conversation?"
You are not weak because you need help. Humans learn, recover, and continue through connection.
And if you don't have a study partner nearby, support can still be simple. You can join a respectful learner group, ask a teacher one clear question, or leave an honest comment and connect with someone facing the same challenge.
Choose safe, encouraging spaces. Good support should help you take the next step, not make you ashamed of your current level.
So far, we have made the task smaller, changed the inner story, and asked for support. But what if the plan itself keeps failing?
Then continuing may require a different direction. This is where many people become confused. They believe changing the plan means giving up.
If I don't follow my original schedule, I failed.
But sometimes the dream is healthy and the plan is not. Imagine your goal is stronger English. You decide to study for 3 hours every night after work.
3 hours after a full workday. Sounds like a plan created by someone who has never been tired.
After 4 days, you are exhausted. You miss the 5th day, feel guilty, and conclude that you lack discipline.
But the problem may not be your dream or your character. The plan may simply be too heavy.
Exactly. Never giving up does not mean forcing a broken method forever. It means asking, how else can I move toward what matters?
Like wearing painful shoes on a long walk. If the shoes hurt, you don't announce, walking is impossible.
You change the shoes. You may also slow down, rest your feet, or choose another path.
Same mountain, different path.
Maybe 3 hours at night becomes 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes after dinner. Maybe a boring grammar book becomes a podcast, a short story, or a conversation you actually enjoy.
Your body can stay at the table with a boring book while your soul goes to the beach.
Haha, if that happens every day, choose a method your brain does not hate. Enjoyment is not cheating. It can help you stay with the journey.
You can also change a short-term target. I must reach C2 this year. May become, I will build a solid B1 foundation and evaluate my progress later.
That is not weakness. It is wisdom. A realistic goal gives you something you can work with.
A changed plan should still have a clear next action. Otherwise, I'm adjusting, can quietly turn into avoiding the goal forever.
That is true. You might say, this schedule failed, so tomorrow I'll test a 20-minute morning routine for 1 week. You are not only removing pressure, you are replacing an unworkable path with a realistic experiment.
Is there ever a time when leaving a path is the right choice?
Of course, never give up should not trap you in an unhealthy job, harmful relationship, or course that no longer supports your life. You can leave one path while continuing to care about your growth.
So staying loyal to yourself can sometimes mean stopping something that is damaging you.
Yes, the deeper message is not, never change. It is, don't stop believing that your life and future deserve care. Your map may change many times.
Resting is not surrender. Asking for help is not surrender. Changing the shoes, speed, or road is not surrender.
You're only choosing a more sustainable way to carry the dream.
And if you're still listening in English, you have already taken one of those small steps today.
Before our vocabulary walk, let's hold on to the main message. Continuing does not require endless hustle. It can mean resting and returning.
We saw why people want to quit. Obstacles, setbacks, exhaustion, and the painful belief that slow progress is no progress.
We also saw 2 different recovery stories. I came back to English through one short listening clip. You stayed with your course after a teacher helped you notice the progress you couldn't see.
Then we made the battle smaller, changed the story in our heads, and stopped trying to fight alone.
Finally, we separated the dream from the plan. You can change your method, schedule, speed, or direction without throwing away what matters to you.
If you remember one sentence, remember this. I'm allowed to rest and adjust, but I don't have to abandon myself.
Take one slow breath. Now let's revisit the useful words and expressions from our conversation. This is not a test. Think of it as a calm walk back through the story.
Let's make this review active. I'll describe an idea, and you try to remember the expression before Sarah says it.
First question. What word describes continuing over time and returning even after difficult days?
Perseverance. 10 minutes of English after a tiring day can show perseverance. It does not require perfect attendance or constant speed.
Now, what word focuses on recovering after life pushes you down? Think of our tree bending in the wind.
Resilience. I showed resilience when I rested after my painful test and began listening again.
Here is a comparison. A busy work schedule stands in the way before you study. Is that an obstacle or a setback?
It is an obstacle, something blocking your path. But if you have followed a routine for weeks and then illness pushes you backward, that is a setback.
An obstacle blocks the road. A setback moves you backward on it. Neither one has to end the journey.
Next picture. You are climbing a steep hill with a heavy bag, and every step demands effort. Which expression fits?
An uphill battle, balancing work, family, and English can feel like an uphill battle.
After fighting that battle for a long time, you may begin to lose hope and courage. What phrase describes that?
Lose heart. If you begin to lose heart, you may need rest, evidence of progress, or support. It does not mean you are a bad learner.
Now imagine the lowest emotional point, like Sarah staring at the impossible video and the test covered in red marks.
That is, hitting rock bottom. But what can happen after rock bottom when someone starts recovering?
They can bounce back. Like a ball rising after touching the ground, a person begins moving again. Bouncing back does not erase the pain. It describes the recovery.
Sometimes you only need to continue through one short, difficult moment. Which expression means doing that?
Push through. For example, I wanted to stop, but I pushed through the final 10 minutes of practice.
Remember, pushing through one uncomfortable moment is different from ignoring serious exhaustion forever. Kind perseverance also knows when recovery is necessary.
Here are two related expressions: stay the course and stick with it. Can you hear the small difference?
To stay the course means remain on the same general path instead of abandoning it halfway. My teacher encouraged me to stay the course because I was improving.
Stick with it is more casual. A friend might say, "Your listening is getting clearer. Stick with it."
You can stay the course while changing the size of your daily task. Adjusting the method does not automatically change the destination.
Next question. What phrase means moving in a helpful direction even though you have not arrived?
On the right track. Your pronunciation may not be perfect, but regular speaking practice can show that you are on the right track.
And after a long, dark period, you may finally notice one hopeful sign. Which expression describes it?
A light at the end of the tunnel. For me, that light was understanding one complete sentence from a short clip. One sentence was a small light, but it still counted.
We also use the expression, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. It means determined people begin taking action when circumstances become difficult.
And Alex's version?
When the going gets tough, I get a snack and then get going for 10 minutes.
The snack is optional. The manageable action is the useful part.
All these expressions return us to the central message. Don't give up on yourself.
Your mistakes and tired days do not remove the value of your dreams. You can care for yourself while changing the route.
Try saying one final sentence aloud. Today was difficult, but I won't give up on myself.
Or simply, this is a setback, not my ending. If you stayed with us through this whole conversation, notice what you just did. You followed a long English discussion about real emotions, practical choices, and challenging vocabulary.
Maybe you missed some words. Maybe your attention moved away for a moment. That does not cancel the effort you made.
The tired part of you may have wanted to press stop, but another part stayed. That is the same quiet perseverance we have been discussing.
Remember the question from the beginning? Complete this sentence in the comments. One thing I don't want to give up on is because.
It might be your English, health, education, confidence, art, family, or another dream that matters to you. Write honestly. Perfect grammar is not required.
And make one small promise for today. Not for the next year, just for today.
You could listen to 1 minute of English, speak one sentence aloud, send one message asking for support, or give yourself the rest you genuinely need.
Sarah, how is your brain now? Is it still resigning?
I rejected its resignation letter. We negotiated a shorter schedule, a cup of tea, and an early night.
Same brain, better plan.
If this conversation helped you, please like the video, subscribe to the English Life channel, and share it with someone who needs a gentle reminder to continue.
You can also listen again and practice a few expressions aloud. Each return will make them feel more familiar.
Exactly. Thank you for spending this time with us. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex.
Be patient with the tired version of yourself.
Change the pace when you need to. Ask for help when the road feels heavy, and keep looking for the next manageable step.
You do not have to climb the entire mountain today.
You only need to decide that your story is still worth continuing.
Take care, keep practicing, and don't give up on yourself.